Hey everyone, it's me again. This video will be a quick video on how to properly throw powder into your cartridge so that you can then see the projectile on your quest to reloading rifle ammunition. Today we'll be loading the 223 and we're going to go over a couple of the brief things you need. We're going to throw some powder into a few shells. Alright, with that, let's see if we can go over a couple things. Alright, first off, to get started, before we do anything, we want to make sure we have our brass. We want to make sure we've got our powder, our load manuals, our projectiles that we're going to shoot. Our powder thrower is full. Remember to keep it full because your case head pressure. And we want to have our scale completely zeroed out. As you can tell, it's 0, 0, 0. Now, we would come down here next, and we would determine what type of bullet we would be shooting in our loaded brass. And today I've chose we're going to shoot the 55 grain full metal jacket. Now, we would show that this ram shot tack. We would go to our loading manual, and we would go to that correct load and find out how many grains it tells us to shoot. This powder is not in this book, so I have a load data printed directly off their website. And as I've got marked right here, if it will zoom in for a second, I've got the 55 grain full metal jacket. As you can tell, it says we can start at 23 grains and go to 25.7. So with that, I think a good starting load would be 24 grains. So we would come to our scale. We would set our 24. If I got that on camera, probably didn't. And now we're set at 24. Here are our grains. If we were going to do 24.5, we'd move that to 0.5 because this is your tenths of a grain. Alright, next we come over to our powder thrower, and we would take our cup from the powder thrower. We would put it under the bottom here, and we would actuate, if I can do this with one hand, which is proving very difficult, one throw of the powder thrower. Now, this does not look like much powder, but trust me, it is. Lefty-loosey to get more powder, righty-tighty to get less powder. If you change this any, make sure you throw several loads of powder, dumping it back into the top. That way you get it back even again, because you could be compressing or loosening the powder that's inside this area, and you don't want that. So, with that, we would come up to the top, hoping we threw as close to 24 grains as possible, and we would set it on the scale. Now, it looks like this one's going to come out just about dead on, so we nailed that one. I even keep a little piece of tape on mine to keep it from twisting any in the area. Now, the best thing to do would be to throw a couple thousandths of a grain, which are these, or tenths I guess, low, and keep a little bit of extra powder in a cup here on your bench. What you would do is you take a little scoop or a cut-off 22 shell or something, and you scoop out a very fine amount of powder, and you would come up here and you would trickle it in until it would be perfect. And then you knew every single time that you would be dead on. Alright, after you do this, you would take your cup off. We know we have exactly 24 grains now. We would come down to our case, and we would want to make sure we have a primer in it, so we check again to make sure we have a primer. This one has actually been crimped from reloading a little, and let's see with this one. This one looks a little smoother. So we would make sure we have a primer in place so our powder doesn't run out the bottom. We would take a funnel, because this would be very difficult to do. We'll set our funnel on top, and we'll pour in exactly 24 grains of powder. Now, that case is completely ready to go, and we now have 24 grains of powder in here, and it's ready for a projectile. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Thank you.